Hello, hello. Welcome to the Expansive Leadership Podcast. My name is Matthias Schmitt, and I'm Chief Fulfillment Officer for founders, especially exited founders, conscious leaders who want to live and lead with purpose upfront, who want to make a difference in this life, who want to create a legacy and have a big impact. I call it Success 2.0. More on that later in the podcast. And I'm super excited, and I'm really burning for this podcast. This is the first episode, so I'm super stoked that you are here today because we're going to dive in why this podcast exists, what it has to do with the meta crisis that we're seeing in this world, and what you can do about it. And actually what this podcast also offers to you is opportunities, skills, frameworks, methods, all of that, so you can get involved, you can create that bigger impact, you can live that fulfilling life and combine it with making a difference in this world. So yeah, let's dive right in today. And we want to first look at what is happening in the world right now. Why are we seeing a meta crisis? The meta crisis of climate change. So much tension in this world. War. Like a lot of, especially governments in Europe, who are seeing such a shift to the right, to the conservative. And so many more like people, like right-wing people popping up all of a sudden. What that has to do with the macro crisis. And actually, it's one of the topics that are really touching me because everything that we see on the outside, and stay with me now, please stay with me. Everything that we see on the outside is a reflection of what is going on the inside. And stay with me, I will come to that in a second. Every war that we see in this world starts from the inside. Do you follow me? So just imagine like a beautiful day. You have a beautiful day, and then all of a sudden you get triggered. You have maybe an argument with your wife, or you're outside and somebody's shouting at you. All of a sudden you get triggered, and that anger, that resentment will then follow you during your day. However much work you have done with yourself, internal work, and however much, in a meditative state you are, this will impact you for short-term or long-term time. And now imagine if you go around and just, the next people that you also come across, you're angry about him. You're resentful about this person. Or imagine you have a very beautiful day. You wake up in the morning, your wife gets you breakfast, the sun is shining, everything's super good. You're joyful. Maybe you have nothing to do that day. You can just like live into the day and just be free, do whatever you want. You're super joyful. And this you will also transmit to the other person. So now imagine a world where we collectively, millions and billions of people, bring this kind of internal state to the outside. Do you follow? That's what I mean with the world that we see outside is a representation of our inner state. And if we have this collective inner state of anxiety, of burnout, and of depression, what we're seeing nowadays so many people having, because there's like so much work, so much complaining, a lot of tension, globalization is going on. The system is under stress. Right, there's system theory nowadays that actually there's a lot of research around that in physics. When physics, like for example, when a system, like for example, a pot of water that is boiling, right, or that is brought to a boiling point. So there's a lot of tension on the system. There's a lot of energy that gets put into this pot of water. Then it has two ways of dealing with that, right? Either it transforms, so it gets steam, it turns to steam, the water turns to steam if there's a lot of energy that is put into the water. That is transformation. Or if it cannot stand that, like it will not boil, right? It will not go into steam. We decrease the energy, and then it slowly, the temperature decreases again and it goes into the old state, right? So it kind of degrades to the old state. And that's what we're seeing with systems in the world right now. Like we have so much pressure through globalization because there's a lot of information coming towards us. There's a lot of internal states that are projected on the outside, as I said, right? There's a lot of stress. So we've seen the world, the countries, and the global system really under immense pressure. What does that mean? Either we transform collectively, or we go back to old states. We degrade to old states. And that's what like the easy solution that a lot of people are calling for. The easy solution that a lot of politicians, these kind of, how do you call them? Populists are really going for, like easy solutions. Yeah, like make America great again, or like easy solutions in Europe that we're seeing. A lot of the populists, they have just easy answers to very complex problems, because we've seen a more globalized world, a world where there's climate change happening, multiple crises at the same time. And I'm not somebody who wants to like paint a really dark picture. I'm actually super optimistic about the future. This is also why I'm doing this podcast, because I want to talk to the people that really understand what's going on and that want to make that different, that want to make that positive influence in the world, right? So we're seeing all of these meta crises. And as I said, the internal world is a reflection to the outside. And this podcast is for leaders who want success 2.0, which means they have realized that only making yourself successful, and I've certainly been there. I've been at the spot where I've built 2 companies in my life already, right? In the middle 20s that were more for my success, for my fun, so I could make money, so I can have influence, so I can have status. But I've realized in the last 5 years, while diving deep in an inner journey, that this is not the ultimate, that doesn't bring ultimate happiness. I've been in very miserable places because I've thought a lot about myself and not so much about others. And I've thought a lot about how can I maximize my well-being, my abundance, my whatever, my financial success, instead of thinking what impact can I make, what difference can I make in the world. And this podcast is for everybody who believes in that success 2.0, who knows that if we uplift others, if we really are of service for others, then we can truly live a fulfilled, a happy life for ourselves. But then also we can create this collective abundance. We can create this collective uplift. And that's what it's really about, what we're seeing right now. So I'm really celebrating you already, because this is so courageous. Because in the end, what we're talking about here is, like what I said, when we are going outside and somebody's angry at us, or when we are getting pressure from investors, for example, in our business, when we're getting resentment from our wives, our children, or our husbands, or when we're getting stress from people outside, that we then stay calm, we stay centered. And this is the biggest challenge of our lives, that we transform whatever comes from the outside and make it good. Stop the cycle, stop the vicious cycle. And that's when we do that collectively, when we're going to start to collectively turn that anger, turn that resentment, turn that stress into calmness, relaxation, into a state of joy, and be like, and a state of non-reactivity, in a state of love, because we just hold compassion for other people, then we can collectively really create paradise on this planet. And that's what I'm a big believer in. That's what I'm a big believer in. And I hope that you are as well, because it is possible. If we spread this like a ripple, it's like a ripple, no? It's like a butterfly effect. If you go out in the morning and you don't react to that angry person on the street, and you don't put that stress that your investors give you to your employees, and you don't take this anger that you maybe created in an argument with your family out into the world, but you choose to stay positive, and you choose to stay joyful, uplifting, compassionate with others, then you've made the whole difference, right? Because this will ripple. If you bring joy and happiness to other people's lives, this will ripple into their lives, and they will then ripple that out into the next lives that they get into contact with. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? So that's what this podcast is about, really equipping you with the skills, with the methods, with the frameworks that you need in order to be an expansive leader, a leader of this new world, of this new paradigm that we are seeing emerge, that you can already feel. Like the tension means that we are actually creating awareness. So whenever you learn something new about yourself, it starts with awareness, no? So maybe a few years ago, you didn't see some kind of characteristic about yourself. You maybe didn't see that you were selfish. Or also, on the other hand, there's also positive things. Like I did not see myself as a speaker 5 years ago. I only started to see that 2-3 years ago, and now I fully embody that. But it took some time. But the first step is creating awareness. And that's what's happening in the world. As soon as we create awareness, all of a sudden the things bubble up because they're ready to be transformed. And that's what's happening right now. Why are we seeing these meta crises? Because they're ready to transform, because we're ready to step into the next episode of the world, of the transformation that we're seeing in life. Am I clear? Do you follow? Does that make sense to you? And here in this podcast, you will learn in the next weeks, I will make weekly episode. You will learn all about like skills, frameworks, method that you need in order to be that conscious leader, to be that leader that is out there and really making a difference, having that bigger impact, and also, living closer with your purpose, with your fullest expression, so you can be a role model for others. You can be the role model that this world needs. You can be a role model for the people around you so that you uplift them and we collectively uplift each other. That's what this podcast is about. I'm so happy that you tuned in today. I hope you already got some things about it, from it. And if you think that this podcast makes a difference in your life, and if you think that this could be valuable to people, please share this episode. Please give it a like. And I would also love to get a comment from you. Go to the comment section and just type in whatever you're taking away, like the biggest learning that you're taking away from today, just typing into the comment section. Give it a like and share it with people that you think should definitely listen to this. And this was just scratching the surface today to give us a good foundation. And these episodes will not be long, like maybe 10, maximum 15 minutes, because I know you're living busy lives, right? You're out there trying to really, you have a lot of challenges in your life, I can imagine, right? If you're a successful person, if you're a person who has really already created a certain type of impact, if you have a family, like you have a lot of stuff. So I'm going to keep that short. And so this is it for today. I'm really inviting you to follow that podcast. Please share it, like it. Leave me a comment. What was the number one thing that you're taking away from this? And I will see you next week. My name is Matthias Schmitt. I'm so excited for this. This is finally happening. And this was the Expansive Leadership Podcast. All the best to you, to your expansion, and to our all expansion. All the best. Bye-bye. Smiles from, I'm in Barcelona right now. See you later. Bye-bye.